All right, President Biden heading back to the White House today after trying to appeal to a black voter, or excuse black voters, at a dinner for the Detroit branch of the NAACP.
Just one, Brian. Peter Doocy is live from the White House.
And Peter has a Costco card, I believe, in his pocket right now.
And Brian is a Catholic.
This is true.
I do. The picture is very, very fuzzy. I have to go get it taken again.
The picture is small.
Which I can do. But so what we just saw over the weekend is part of President Biden's new strategy to try to win black voters. And a sizable portion of that strategy is to warn them they're going to have rights taken away if he is not reelected.
Hello, Detroit. My name's Joe Biden, and I'm a lifetime member of the NAACP. Matter of fact, the first organization I ever joined was the NAACP. We're investing more money than ever in black families and communities. We deliver checks to deposit in people's pockets. Extremists close the doors of opportunity. Strike down affirmative action. Attack the values of diversity, equality, and inclusion. What does it mean, as we've heard before, to be a black man who loves his country, even if it doesn't love him back in equal measure? You have to be 10 times better than anyone else to get a fair shot.
If the president sounds kind of alarmed there, he may have seen this Fox News poll that shows his support with black voters has declined by 7 points from where he was in October 2020, while Trump's support with black voters has increased during that time 9 points. That is a huge, complicated problem for President Biden in an election that's only going to be decided by a few thousand votes in a handful of swing states. We saw him yesterday. He spoke in Atlanta, and then he went to Michigan. And for some reason, instead of coming back here pretty late on a Sunday, they took him to Delaware, where he will remain until this afternoon when he comes back to the White House. Back to you.
So, Peter, real quick question. You know, all eyes were on Morehouse yesterday because it was pretty much the first time he had spoken on a college campus after all these Gaza protests had started. Did I read that the president of Morehouse said there will be no demonstrations? If anybody interrupts, I am stopping the commencement right on the spot?
Yes, and if you're at the White House, you probably think that the remarks went pretty well because they wrote the speech all week long with the senior team in the West Wing. He got to deliver it and finish it without the president coming and saying, show's over.
Some did turn their backs, though.
Yeah, and then given that the most famous alumni is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., you said he went to seminary there. Morehouse, the administration said they fully support and defend the rights to peacefully protest and the expression of one's views openly. But yeah, you can see some of the students turning their backs on the stage.
Yeah, but Peter, if he's going to two battleground states within just a few hours of each other, and they're both really close right now, that's a problem.
Well, then you look at the calendar this week. They know it kind of tips their hand about how close they think it's going to be in November. His only political travel this week, a state that has 4 electoral votes, New Hampshire.
Yeah. Thanks, Peter.
Right.
You don't get to spend half of your life with segregationists. Just talk to Kamala Harris. You don't get to oppose busing. And then have a moment to speak with black men, one of the most successful colleges in the country. These are people that are going to be your next doctors, lawyers, and everything. And instead of presenting a moment of inspiration, you tried to divide the country. I had Lou on, who's from the Bronx. He reacted to this. You got to hear it.
It's tough to hear that, because imagine you going to college for 4 years, you know, ready to, you know, hit the world, start a career, and, you know, this guy's trying to set you back. Literally, I don't know, civil rights? I don't know what's going on with the Democrats, this role that they're trying to play. Instead of, you know, pulling up and saying, well, here we go. This is your time. Congratulations. Let's kill it. Let's do our best. Nah, you know what? Lawrence, they don't love you like that. That lets you know how they really think about you and how Democrats feel they have to do no work to get the black vote or the Hispanic vote, which I think that's going to change this year.
Lawrence, I'm curious, how do you feel when the president has been in office for 3.5 years, and now you're seeing the poll numbers drop amongst black men especially, and Trump is getting more of the black male voter, and then you see President Biden now all of a sudden doing this tour of black colleges, black radio stations, and meeting with the NAACP?
I think most black male voters would say, why now? Why now? Why did you wait until it was election time to start campaigning and talking about the issues that impact us? I think, honestly, he can campaign all he wants. It's issue-based for black men. It is the economy and immigration. When you have the economy not doing as well as the Trump years, and when you have the Democratic Party now giving benefits to illegals taking over black communities, that is the issues that matter to them.
He's saying in that speech that democracy is not for you. We've let you down every step of the way.
Why even try?
I was thinking, are you talking about your own country that you're president of?
Right.
So it's like if Donald Trump came out and said Democrats wanted to have separate water fountains, they wanted separate bathrooms, they wanted separate schools, they wanted separate colleges, they wanted to bring back the results of the Civil War and pretend it never happened, I'd say, Mr. Former President, I wouldn't bring that up. Why? It's going to hurt the country too much. I thought you want to lead this place. It does no good to come back and emphasize as if that's still America. But instead, the polls must be even worse internally than we see. Because on Wednesday, he met with did radio interviews with black journalists. On Thursday, meeting with Brown versus Board of Education families. Then he goes to the NAACP at the African Museum in front of that audience. And Saturday, we see the event engaging black voters in Atlanta, where he mischaracterized the Georgia election laws again. And then on Sunday, he went to the NAACP in Detroit, and he said, you've delivered the White House.
Brian, can I pick up where you left off about Georgia? So the Jim Crow 2.0 killed businesses in Georgia. They were set to have a boom when it comes to their economy.
Right.
As we know, Atlanta area is the modern-day Black Wall Street. A lot of black businesses there. Because of the Jim Crow 2.0 nonsense, the All-Star game left. And all those businesses who prepared for years for the economy that was going to come in, they were ruined as a result of that, and they're still telling the same lie.
And production companies?
Exactly.
Sure. So we know that the polls are upside down for Joe Biden because black voters are, for the most part, running for the exits. A Democratic senator spoke to the Hill newspaper and said this about what's going on with Joe Biden. He said, if you go out there and do a focus group, the focus groups all say, he's 200 years old. You got to be kidding me. And the worst part about it is for unaffiliated voters or people who have not made up their mind. They look at this and say, you have to be kidding us. These are our choices, and they indict us for not taking it seriously. The senator went on to say of his Democratic colleagues in the Senate, we know this is a problem, but also realize it's too late to do anything about it. And this is the ticket we have to get behind, and we have to win with this ticket. He says, we'll see how much gravity we can defy. Because obviously they like a different candidate, but it's too late in the race.
But compare that to what Donald Trump is doing this week. Thursday, he'll be in the Bronx, New York. 80% of them voted for Democrats. He's taking it on right now, saying, listen, I want to provide something new to the community. I'm going to give you jobs. I'm going to give you the opportunity. I'm going to provide opportunity zones there. I'm going to go against illegal immigration. This is your moment. To compare that message of inspiration to what Joe Biden is offering. He had almost 4 years to do it, and he's brought nothing but poverty and destruction to all communities.
And when you dial back policing, it hurt the black community too, because they needed protection, and they're in working class areas, and the cops going, I don't even have enough cops all-time low with the NYPD, although it's starting to tick up a little bit again. And those areas oftentimes are the most crime where you need the most cops. And now they're discouraging them from doing all that because we just heard that cops shoot black men from the President of the United States at Morehouse College, which is a real help to kind of boost criminal justice.
I just think at a commencement, you should have such a positive message. I know that many people in America are tired of hearing that America is not doing well, is not this, not that. And like you said, he's the president. Is it your fault? Then maybe, right?
Send him out optimistically.
Positive, right?
I just don't think on your biggest day, which is graduation, you should be told you can't make it.
I agree.
Because of the country that you live in.
You're a victim.
I mean, it just makes absolutely no sense. They did make it.
And Morehouse, one of the hardest schools to get into. These are
and what am I going to do to make sure you make it even further? I'm going to give you even more opportunity. He could have said any of that. He could have pitched some of his nonsense plans of paying for college and all that. But instead, he said, you can't make it.
He brought that up, too. He brought that up, too. Yeah. Well, by the way, for all those people that worked really hard to make sure their kids didn't have student loans, and then you find out that people that took student loans had them all forgiven. Think about those working class, middle class people who don't get the financial aid and don't have the money to pay. They find a way to do it. The kid graduates out student loans, and you find out everybody that took student loans you're at the same situation.
Well, I got a feeling what we've seen over the weekend with Joe Biden suddenly engaged, trying to get people to focus on the race. This is just the start, and it'll be a race right up to that first debate. And then, if he does badly, he's got a little time to recover.
The goal's going to be
next thing's going to be
the goal's going to
pay
be
off your credit card too.
Yeah, and pay off your car loan. I think he's going to say from now on, okay, you don't like me, but Donald Trump's the worst. Which Donald Trump has got to answer by not trying to hit the green off the tee every time. Just keep it in the fairway.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.